When you look at the Roblox homepage, what do you see? Just a bunch of unoriginal slop games. And even though I would never contribute to that, I want to create a semi-realistic horror game in Roblox. But there's just one small problem. I absolutely suck at building, which is why in this video I'll try and learn a few tips and tricks to help build a map for my game. And to make things a little bit easier for myself, I've separated all the steps along the way. To plan out the map, I like to use Krita and then just draw out the rough outline. On the left side you see the gas pumps, in the middle is where the actual store is, and at the top's the camera place, and the right toilets, and at the bottom is the storage. After exporting it, I go back in Roblox Studio and then just build out the outline. And I've heard a lot of people talk about building tools, so I decided to use it in this video, and it's actually so much better than the default Roblox building tools. Here you see me try and experiment with beams because I've heard it could be used as like a light source, and then you can hide the point light under it to make it look like there's actually light, but there isn't, if you know what I mean. Now that the outline is complete, we can finally start adding the materials. This will make the build look so much better and more realistic. I found this great website where they have a bunch of free textures that I use because the default ones look kind of bad in my opinion. Here's how the game looks so far. I then used this website called Sketchfab where I found this great shelf model, and I used a bunch of other assets from there too. And now we can finally start to add props around this place and make things look a little bit less bland. And there's not much to talk about when adding the props. I just went around using the toolbox in Sketchfab to find a bunch of different assets and then I just placed them around. Right now you see me making the bathroom, which honestly turned out a lot better than I was expecting. And I actually figured out a little trick that if you add a decal and then you can like place them around the walls to make the textures look a little bit better, which you see me doing. And this created a huge difference in my builds because it made them look a lot more realistic. And I guess I should tell you guys what the game's going to be about. It's inspired by Night Shift, and you have to serve different customers and check if they're an anomaly or not. If they are, you have to shoot them. And each shift you have a quota to fill, otherwise anomalies will come and attack you. They also come if you kill too many normal people or you let too many anomalies check out. Now as you can see here, as I change the lighting settings, the game's really starting to come together and it looks a lot more like a horror game now. You can now see me adding the final few props, which are just shelves, barrels, computers for the camera room obviously, and monitors and wires. And I also found out that you can use paper decals on the floor to make things look a little bit more messy. Finally, I added a few signs around the place like a buy one get one free, and graffiti and a restroom sign. Now you can see me working on the actual storage room. This is where you can restock all the shelves and where you defend yourself from anomalies because there'll be a wall which opens up and you can pick up different weapons from there to defend yourselves. But I realized this when I'm looking back, and this map is way too big, like it's humongous. So I decided to shrink the whole thing down and make things look a lot more compact and way better in my opinion. Here's how it looks now after the changes. You got the camera room here, the shop, and then the storage, which I honestly think looks still a little bit too big. Well, I can change that later. And last but not least, we have the bathrooms. And if you had a keen eye from the start, you may have noticed the fifth step was just a bunch of question marks. And that's because after watching this YouTuber, I saw that you can create sort of like a filter effect in Roblox Studio that essentially acts as a shader on your game. And here's my game before and after the shader, and I think it looks so much better with the shader on. But finally, after 5 days, here's how the map looks. If you've made it this far, chances are you probably enjoyed this video, so please like and subscribe this video, and maybe even leave a comment down below. We are so close to hitting 50 subscribers,